What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a bit of a watch collector. I enjoy wristwatches and everything about them. Now, I own wristwatches that are under $100 and some that are a bit more expensive than that, and I've even purchased watches on Amazon. Why do I bring all of this up? Well, I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment, and I wanted to see what the cheapest automatic watch I could find on Amazon was like, and I did just that. I found one, and the one I found happened to be above 4 stars, so I have very high hopes. Landed me on this IK coloring men's luxury watch. Let's see what it's actually called. IK Men Automatic Watch, Men's Business Analog Auto Self-Wind Mechanical Steampunk Watch. You're seeing a picture of it right now. I don't know what's very steampunky about it, but maybe once we open this box, you know, it'll make more sense. So let's just do that. It's 1:55 p.m. Let's get down to business. Alright, now guys, before we get into it, I want to thank our sponsor, Wrist Candy Watch Club. You know, they really are the only NATO strap I wear when it comes to 2-piece NATO straps, because I am sick and tired of finding a NATO strap, putting it on my watch, and then realizing that it has the most awkward amount of material. Like, not enough to tuck back behind the keepers, just enough to get in the way, so you have to cut it, and then it defeats the purpose of a NATO strap, because NATO straps originally were made so that if you were wearing, you know, heavier jackets, you could wear the watch over the jacket sleeve and it would be just fine. So cutting it defeats the purpose. And Wrist Candy Watch Club, they noticed me because I started taking a liking to their products, and they were like, hey, why don't we help you out and sponsor your channel? And I was like, okay, I'm happy about that. So guys, wristcandywatchclub.com, check them out, the only 2-piece NATO straps I wear, and yeah, go to their website, tell them I sent you, and they'll hook you up. But yeah, let's get into the unboxing. All right, boys and girls, I have the box. I have my trusty caliper tool, so we're gonna go ahead and take some measurements, see what it's like on my 7.5-inch wrist as well, but let's take a look at the box. So the box says Gut. I don't know why it says Gut, because from my understanding, the company that makes the watch is IK, and Amazon listed it as being from IK Coloring. I don't know anything about that company either, but confused about Gut, maybe you guys know something. It says, this item is brand new from original manufacturer and after testing by Gut Trade. Okay, so that is a company. If you don't know how to set it up or get any problems, please contact us first. Made in China, recyclable. Gut. I was hoping that it would just be like, oh, this watch is good. Yeah, very good watch. Yeah, Gut. Anyway, let's go ahead and unbox it. Okay, so some standard bubble wrap. We have some paperwork. Looks to be Chinese. Again, Gut, so maybe Gut is the company, I don't know. Okay, the instructions, there probably is an English section. I think most of these booklets have multiple languages. So this is predominantly not in English. Okay, so none of the instructions are in English. And that's perfectly fine. I don't think we need instructions for this watch. It has a pillow. Like most watches have pillows so that they can sleep peacefully at night. No, so that they, you know, the watch band goes around it. This is totally separate from the watch though. So it kind of fell out. That's perfectly fine. Remove the bubble wrap. Get rid of the box. We don't need the box anymore. There's this weird waxy plastic. Okay, so some more instructions. This is an instruction booklet. And it's got a hang tag, guys. This is a legit watch with a hang tag. So here, the hang tag says IK Coloring, spelt with a OU, which I suppose, you know, my non-American viewers will say that that is the proper way of spelling the word coloring, and favorite. But us here in America, we don't need that U, because the only U we need is in USA. So it says Switzerland XXJC International HK Limited. So does HK mean Hong Kong? I don't know. Says Switzerland, though. Is this watch Swiss? Boy, it's got a very vibrant blue dial. I'll give it that. That is very deep and just pops. Actually, you know, the coloring on the dial, the IK coloring on the dial is very vibrant. I actually really like that. And the lighting that's coming into the office right now, it is really popping very nicely off that dial. Now there seems to be some plastic, some protective plastic. Let's get rid of that. You know, just from first looks, this is actually pretty impressive. I don't think I mentioned how much I paid for it. I paid $15.99 for this watch. I'm sure that you saw it at the beginning of the episode. We posted the price, but yeah, $15.99. It looks quite nice, just like the shiny dial. The deep blue of the dial looks quite nice, but let's take a closer look. So here is some sort of automatic movement. I am assuming it's Chinese. The etching on the side of the case back, or the border of the case back, says automatic movement, stainless steel back, and then it has some serial numbers here. Now what I will say is the movement is not decorated pretty much at all. There's, I don't want to say tool marks, but there is some grainage from machining. Again, no real decor or finishing to be spoken of or to mention, and that's fine. The interesting thing is there's not even any etching or branding on the rotor. So even many like inexpensive watches, they will take the time to do some etching or branding on the rotor. This does not have any of that. I'm not speaking badly about the watch because of that. I'm just saying they didn't even put like an IK coloring on there. Now there is, I'm going to get a macro shot. There is a little IK coloring etched right here on the case back border. That's fine. Let's go ahead and take off the hang tag and put it on the wrist. Actually, you know what? I lied. I want to set the time first before I put it on the wrist. I mean, come on. What's the point of wearing a watch if it's not telling the time? So let's go ahead, take a look at how the crown feels. So I think there is 2 crown settings. Ooh, that was kind of hard to push. Am I wrong? There might only be 1 crown setting. 1 second. Oh, no, there is 2. Okay, cool. So right now, at the time of filming, it is the 6th of March. So let's go ahead and... What I like doing is I like putting it, setting the date complication the day before. Okay, so my one initial complaint about this watch is that it does have 2 crown settings, so 1, 2, but it's very difficult to differentiate. So kind of feels gritty when you're pulling it out, and it's difficult to kind of discern where the different crown settings are. It's easy to miss. Okay, so I'm all the way at the 2nd crown setting, which should set the time. So we're at the 5th. We're going to jump past 12 a.m. Boom. Ooh, doesn't want to see, look. The date window doesn't want to complete its cycle. Let's see if we move any further, if it completes its cycle. Ooh, don't like that. The 6 doesn't want to go to your home. Go home. Doesn't want to go into its nice little framed date window there. Wait, let's see what happens if we go all the way to the 7th. Again, misaligned. That's weird, because the date out of the box looked perfectly in center. If I tap it. Oh, if I tap it, it comes down. Wait. Let's see what happens when we go to the 8th. Okay, so you give it a few proper knocks with your fingernail and it'll go to where it's supposed to. Okay, anyway, it's like it's almost 225. We'll just put it at 225 right now. Boop. Okay, so the date window, or the date wheel inside of the movement, very, very finicky. Okay, so you heard 2 crown settings there. Interesting. Not there. See, so this is kind of a finicky movement. Let's see if it has hand wind. I'm gonna put the watch up to my microphone real quick. So it does sound like it is actually winding the movement. So perhaps the watch has hand wind, but if I pull, oh, and it has hacking, very cool. So this does have hacking and hand wind, very cool. What hacking is, for those of you who don't know, is I can stop the second hand by pulling the crown all the way out, and I can synchronize it to like another watch, another time source. It was very useful in the military. Not a whole bunch of scenarios you'll find yourself in needing to like synchronize your watch, but again, if you wanted to synchronize it down to the second to another time source to keep your watch super duper accurate, then this watch has that capability. And hand wind, again, although this is an automatic movement, the watch gains power from this counterweight, this rotor moving around and winding up the watch. You can also give it a few little boosts by rotating that crown. So that's cool. Hacking, hand wind, very, very finicky date wheel. But yeah, let's go ahead. Now that we know kind of what is going on with this watch from a function standpoint, let's put it on the wrist. All right, here it is, my IK Coloring Men's Luxury Steampunk watch thing, whatever they want to call it, on my 7.5-inch wrist. So the strap is disgusting. Okay, the strap feels terrible. It feels worse than like Seiko factory straps. This is absolutely atrocious on the wrist. It's not supple at all. It feels like straight up like a strip of plastic. If you were to get this watch, not that I'm recommending it immediately, but if you were to buy this watch for $15.99, I would spend a little bit more and buy a separate strap for it, because the strap is just terrible. Yeah, I have 7.5-inch wrists. Honestly, I was surprised at the heft of it, taking it out of the box. It's not a super duper heavy watch, but it had more of a hefty feel than I was anticipating for a watch that costs, you know, $15.99. I'm gonna use the pillow and actually brush my fingerprints off of the crystal, because everybody gets mad when I touch a watch's crystal and I leave a fingerprint. But yeah, it feels decent on the wrist, but again, the strap just feels terrible. Let's go ahead and actually take some as accurate as possible measurements of the case. So put it down there, get y'all in focus. So sorry for the glare, guys. It doesn't matter because we're going to be using the caliper tool. So this is my caliper tool, and it is like $9.99 on Amazon. So you can, you don't have to spend a ton of money on these. Let's zero it up. Let's measure it. So, okay, so it is like 40 millimeters on the button. I moved it a little bit, so yeah, right there. And let me get it across. Yeah, 40 millimeters on the button there in diameter. Let's see what the lug to lug is. Okay, 48 millimeters. So 40 by 48, let's see the thickness. Okay, 12.3 millimeters thick. So 12.3 millimeters thick for an automatic watch, that is totally reasonable. About 48 millimeters lug to lug. That is going to be the biggest indicator of how a watch will wear on your wrist. 48 millimeters, that is going to be a little bit big, I think, for people that don't have wrists as large as mine. And then, what was it, 40 on the button in diameter. Honestly, reasonable dimensions for like an everyday dressy type watch. Oh gosh, I have more fingerprints. I'm gonna actually just use my microfiber here so that people don't roast me in the comment section. Oh, you're ugly with your beard. You need to shave. Also, you left a fingerprint on that watch that one time. Oh my gosh, one moment. I don't want a speck of dust on this during the review. So yeah, you're getting kind of a two-tone look I believe this is, you know, stainless steel. You're getting some form of gold plating. I couldn't find any information about that online, but on the crown and on the bezel. And you're getting, you know, that added splash of opulence coming from the handset, the date window border, and the indexes that look applied. Honestly, for $15.99, I was actually expecting much, much worse. Would I recommend this watch? No pun intended, time will tell. I don't see myself wearing this watch every day. I don't know, you know, what kind of abuse this watch will be able to stand up to. I don't know if you wear this and then in the middle of the day the second hand will fall off. I mean, it made it here in one piece. I've had other companies send me watches and the handsets are off the second I take them out the box. So that's, you know, a plus for this watch. It made it here in one piece. I think the biggest turnoff, it's not that it's super inexpensive. It's not that, you know, it's Chinese. It's not that it has kind of just a plain Jane movement in there. It's the date wheel. It's the date wheel and the movement. You shouldn't have to set the date and then kind of send it home by knocking on your watch. That's probably the biggest deterrent for me when it comes to this watch. But let me see online if I can find anything about the crystal. I don't know. I think it's a mineral crystal. Give me one moment. Pause the episode. Okay guys, so real quick, this is not an Amazon ad, but this is the listing that I saw and from which I purchased the watch. Now, we didn't get it on the bracelet, so a little bit of false advertising there. But specifications, excuse me, this is what I wanted to show you. Case diameter 40 millimeters, yes, that's exactly what we measured. Case thickness 12 millimeters, okay, we measured like 12.3, but that's fine. Bandwidth 20 millimeters. I actually didn't measure the lug width, but I'll take their word for it. We'll check it in a moment. Band length, movement, automatic. Band materials, stainless steel. Well, we actually, again, we got it on this junky strap. Dial window material type. This is what I wanted to talk about. They put Hardlex. What they mean by dial window material is the crystal, okay, the glass on the watch. Now, Hardlex, for those of you who don't know, is a proprietary Seiko material. Okay, I don't think Seiko, from my understanding, is selling Hardlex to other companies. I think the only other company using Hardlex crystals would be Orient, and Orient is owned by Seiko Epson Corporation. So I could be wrong. Someone that knows more in the comment section, chime in. I really don't think IK Coloring is using Hardlex crystals. This is like a no-name Chinese company. Maybe they meant mineral and it just got lost in translation. I'm not trying to be insensitive here. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it's Hardlex, but could have just been, you know, a translation error. I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lug width. So the lug width is the space in between the lugs that will tell you, okay, 20 millimeters on the button. That'll tell you what kind of strap you want to use. So 20 millimeters on the button, they were accurate about that. So for $15.99, just under $16, would I recommend the IK Coloring men's luxury business luxury steampunk watch? Well, if you want a steampunk watch, this is not the watch for you. If you want an automatic watch with hacking and hand wind and you don't want to spend even $20 for it, then yeah, perhaps. Again, I don't know how long this watch will last. Maybe I'll wear it for a week and I'll do a follow-up video. There's a few things I really don't like about it. Number one, deep set chapter rings. So the chapter ring is this space here, in between the crystal and the dial. It is too deep. Okay, that's an indicator of kind of a cheap watch. I really don't like deep set chapter rings. The crown. The crown feels disgusting. One, two, okay. So it's hit or miss on whether or not you will get two tangible, tactile clicks when it comes to crown settings. Also, the date wheel. The date wheel, when you go to set the date, That one actually went home there. That was good. Okay, that looked good too. It's very hit or miss on whether or not it will center. That's a huge turnoff as well. You shouldn't have to be, you know, knocking on the side of your watch to get the date wheel to go home. That's kind of off-putting. But as far as like overall finishing, it honestly does not look terrible. Like, it is surprisingly well finished for a watch that's not even $20. And again, the blue dial, super duper vibrant. Could you do better than this and spend a tiny bit more? Yes, probably. I would probably recommend spending a bit more and getting, you know, a better watch. For instance, if you buy an Orient Bambino, yes, it's going to be, you know, around $100, over $100 maybe. But that's a watch that will last you and you don't have to worry about it. Whereas this, yes, it's less than even $20. But that date wheel freaks me out, having to knock it around to get it to go in the right position. The crown that feels just gritty and disgusting. That makes me, you know, think twice about this watch. But it honestly, the blue dial with the two-tone, it looks quite nice. Now, I think on the handset there is some lume. Let's go ahead and take some lume shots, see how that baby glows. Okay, so anyone who knows me knows that the lume tests are easily my absolute favorite part when I'm taking a look at a watch. Lume, I don't know, it's just shiny, it's bright, it's fun, and I am a very simple man, so I just like things that glow and look interesting. So let's take a look. I'm shining this up with my flashlight. Ooh. Hey, that's not bad. It's fading pretty quickly. I don't know how well it's going to translate on camera. It's not the worst lume in the world. It's not the best lume in the world either. It's a far cry from like Lumebright. So it doesn't have the longest duration, but the hands have some lume. The indexes don't have any lume, so there might have to be a little bit of guesswork there, but better than nothing. But I wouldn't buy this, you know, if you need a watch specifically for low light capability. Okay guys, so here's the deal. My final verdict. It's going to be difficult for me to recommend this IK coloring watch because there's just not a ton of information about it, especially when it comes to longevity. And I just showed you a moment ago, for $99, you can get an Orient Bambino, and there's a ton of literature about that watch out there, you know, a ton of testimonials about that watch. People have owned a bunch of them and, you know, with no issue at all for around $99. Now, $99 is a whole bunch more expensive than $15.99. I can also admit that. But if you're looking for a dress watch with a blue dial, with a really good movement, an in-house movement that we know where it came from, we can know what to expect from it. It's not just this wild card. I would probably look towards, you know, an Orient. But if you just want to have some fun with like a $15.99 disposable maybe watch, then yeah, go crazy. Again, I think it feels better than I anticipated, and it having hacking and hand wind, that's very impressive. It just there's just certain things when it comes to the functions that don't feel great, predominantly with the crown and the date. But if you can look past that, then hey, $15.99, again, I'll leave a link to it in the description, and go crazy. But let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section below. Did this surprise you? Is it better than you thought? Is it worse than you thought? Is it worth the money? That's what I meant to say. Or would you look elsewhere? Now, again, I would love to hear from someone that perhaps owns one of these. So if any of you have any experience with this, please leave me that comment as well, because I would love to have that conversation and that insight and that perspective. So yeah, guys, again, special thanks to our sponsor, Wrist Candy Watch Club. I couldn't go out and just, buy these watches to do these experiments without them, so special thanks to them. www.wristcandywatchclub.com. You can check out my website, www.thetimetellershop.com. That's the #1 place to buy affordable vintage luxury watches. And yeah, guys, I just want to thank everyone for supporting me here at the Time Teller channel and at the shop and on Instagram. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with everyone you know. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. Maybe I'll do a giveaway with this. I don't know.